Hi everybody, welcome into the Wolfman Gardening channel. Today we're going to go over garden pest and why at the halfway point through March are we already going over garden pest? Well, it's real simple. I don't have much planted in the garden behind me, but if you look behind me, I do have some broccoli that's growing, and the broccoli have already found their first garden pest. So what garden pest are we talking about? We're talking about leaf miners. Leaf miners are a common garden pest. They can affect tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, leafy greens. Any type of plant can suffer from one of these leaf miners. Although any of your plants can get leaf miners, they're the most common in your vegetable plants. Now, one thing about it is, because it's on our broccoli, we might be able to save, and I'll show you, or I'll tell you a little bit later in the video on how we might be able to save them. But because we're not eating the leaves, then we should be able to at least attempt to save these and save this crop. What are leaf miners? Leaf miners are larvae that are living and feeding inside your plant's leaves. Now, how do they get there? Flies, moths, even beetles lay eggs inside of the leaf or inside of your leaves. And within a few weeks, these eggs hatch to these larvae. And these larvae will start to feed on these plant leaves in between the surface of the leaves. And when it does that, it leaves these white lines that are the dead tissue of the leaf. All right, I'm going to show you right here. This is the start of the larvae. You see the little white lines right there? That's the start that there are larvae in there actively feeding. And what will happen is when they get too much on there, you can see it starts to discolor the leaf, and before long, it'll kill the leaf out. And like I said, if this was a leafy green, then it would actually ruin the whole crop. Since we're not eating the leaves on this, we might be able to save, because you can see that one there doesn't have any on it. And the new leaf down in between there doesn't have it. So we're going to try to save these and we'll see what happens. All right, well, leaf miners, they are a threat to my garden because I grow leafy greens, lettuce, stuff like that I want to eat, and the herbs. And those leafy greens that you eat are the ones that are, it's more detrimental than your tomatoes, peppers, stuff that you're not eating, the green, the leaves. I don't worry too much about the leaf miners on the leaves that I do not intend to eat. Leaf miners will not kill a plant, but they are rather annoying. And all you have to do is simply remove the leaf to keep them from spreading. Now, when you remove this leaf, you want to dispose of it correctly. Do not put them in your compost, because you put them in your compost, then you're going to have to deal with this every time you use your compost. And you simply pull the leaf and then you smash the leaf and try to kill those miners and then dispose of it. I prefer to dispose of it inside of a plastic bag and then tie it up and dispose of it in the trash. But on the other hand, leaf miners can ruin your entire harvest, like your lettuce, your kale, your spinach, cabbage, stuff like that. Stuff that you eat, the leaves, it can, if these get infested into these leaves, then it can totally ruin your crop. And I shouldn't have to say this, but do not eat the leaves that show signs of leaf miners. All right, well, let's talk about how we get rid of these leaf miners. Now, I'm not a fan of pesticides. I don't use them in my garden. I don't like pesticides. Or if you're a pesticide person, then you can buy these expensive pesticides that claim to deal with leaf miners. But you got to remember, leaf miners are inside the leaves. So literally, if you're spraying the outside of the leaf, then is it really doing any good? One of the best things is early detection. Best thing to do is keep an eye out on the leaves. And if you, it's better if you can do it daily, but you know, some of us have lives that don't let us observe this on a daily basis. You can notice these before they start by little black dots on the usually on the underside of the leaf. And these black dots are the larvae eggs. So simply just remove those leaves and you shouldn't have a problem with them as long as you catch them early enough. Now there are ways that you can treat these, and it's not 100% effective, but you can, there is ways that you can kind of treat these. Like I said, these things, once they hatch, they are inside the leaf. So the best thing, once you start seeing the white squiggly lines, you want to go ahead and remove that leaf, because it's already got the larvae growing in it and it's already actively feeding on the leaves. When you go to treat these leaves, you can treat them, but it's best to treat these things or either early in the morning or late in the evening, because you don't want these you want the whatever you spray on them to be able to dry before the sun starts beating down on them real hard. One of the best ways that I've found to prevent some of these moths, beetles, flies, and stuff from laying the eggs on it is to take some soap and water. Now you want to use an eco-friendly soap. I usually use Dawn because, you know, you've seen the little duck. It's eco-friendly. Dawn dish soap. And you want to use 1 tablespoon of Dawn dish soap into a gallon of water or 1 liter of water, whichever you want, and mix that up and then lightly spray both sides of the leaves. And then whenever it dries, then it should deter some of these flies, these beetles, and these moths to actually lay the eggs on them. Another thing you can use is neem oil. And you'll want to just do 1 teaspoon of neem oil into a 1 gallon of water and mix it well, and you'll do the same thing. You'll spray both sides of these leaves. In order to, you see the damage it's done, we're going to take right down here at the bottom, and we're just going to pinch this thing off. And what you want to do now is you want to smash, make sure you kill those, and then we're going to dispose of this. Same with this one here. Let's make sure we kill that. And since this one is started, that's probably where another one is. We're going to go ahead and start on this one here too. And that leaves us with some fresh. And now we're going to take, and we'll probably spray our dish soap on both sides of this. We're going to check the underside of this leaf. And I don't see any black dots on the underside, which should be good. We'll do the same with this one and that one there. All right, since we've done all that, we've got the leaves taken care of, and we're gonna mix our dish soap with our water, and we're gonna go ahead and spray both sides of the leaves. We did double check to make sure that there are no more little black spots underneath any of these leaves. So these broccoli are either gonna survive, or we may have had to pull off too many of the leaves and stems, and it may stunt the growth and actually kill this out. Now, the leaf miners are not the ones that's going to kill the plant. So it's the fact that I guess it could technically kill the plant if you have to remove all the stems and it doesn't have enough left for growth because we waited so long. Now, if we would have kept a closer eye on this, which I figured early March, we didn't have to worry about that, but I guess I was wrong. So now I'll keep an eye on the rest of this stuff, and I'll keep an eye out for the other things. And another thing that we're going to talk about later is another problem that I had in the garden already was I went out there today and noticed that my tomatoes that I'd planted early are only about this tall with just a stem. So what kind of a pest eats all the leaves and not the stems? It's real simple. They're about yay tall and they're called deer. And I had a problem with them 2 years ago and 3 years ago. But last year I didn't have much of a problem with them because I'll show you a few secrets to keep the deer out of the garden. And that'll be on a future video. So anyway, stay on top of your leaves. Keep a close eye on the leaves. Remember, early detection is the best. So if you can detect the little black spots before these larvae actually get inside and the eggs hatch, that's the perfect time to pull the leaf, dispose of it, and then you shouldn't have a problem with it. So keep an eye on your leaves and you shouldn't have much of a problem. So like I said, like, comment, share this video. Think about subscribing to this channel. And like always, keep it growing.